2, and here's Modi. Here we are. Hi.
What's up?
What's going on? So here we are on this is going to be a week later, but we are right now on the Friday before the Saturday evening of Shavuot.
Erev Shavuot.
Shavuot.
The cheesecake holiday.
It's so horrible. It's so horrible. That's what it's thought of as.
That's true, though, isn't it?
That's all I have categorically filed in my brain. It's like cheesecake holiday.
It's Shavuot. Shavuot means a week, and Shavuot means weeks. It's been 7 weeks since Passover, and this is when the Jews get the Torah. This is the holiday where we received the Torah from Mount Sinai. Zman Matan Toratenu.
Wow.
The rule book. The rule book of life was handed today, this Saturday evening.
And the recipe for cheesecake.
Yes, and the recipe for
Why is it the cheesecake holiday?
Oh, there's a whole thing. Don't eat meat, you do eat meat. One rabbi says this, the other one says that. And end up, they all eat meat at the end. But this is the cheesecake holiday. They have one meal with all. It's not worth the schlep.
Do you like cheesecake?
I love a good cheesecake.
I love it.
We ate cheesecake yesterday at your mom's birthday party. It was delicious.
Yesterday was my mother's 80th birthday.
Kanainahara.
Ainahara. My mother.
How was I not invited to this?
You should have come. You actually
surprised her.
To be honest, we should have invited Periel.
Yeah.
Your mom would love me.
She would have loved it. No. So this was the setup. My mother, like a few weeks ago, tells my sister, I need help doing a invitation. Evite. So my sister's like, okay. And then I'm like,
this is like at 1 a.m. because your mom doesn't sleep.
Right. So she my sister's like, how many people do you have coming? And she's like, about 16. And my sister's like, 16 people? You're 80 years old. Who at age 80 has 16 friends? You know, by then your friend's already dead or...
Oh, my God. God forbid.
My mom said she's always been making friends throughout, newer friends. And
younger friends.
She had friends that replaced friends that passed away. Not replaced, but like to put, she
it's
always
smart.
was...
She has a social circle.
She loves her friends, and her favorite thing is to have lunch in the house. She makes a Sunday lunch for the few friends, and 16 women all put together really well, gorgeous, right? Like for women of that age, of women of a certain age, I think is how
your mom was wearing a sash that said 80 never looked so good.
Right. Shut up.
Yeah.
She was really doing it up, and then she made these really good desserts, that apple thing and the cheesecake.
I
ate like half of a cake yesterday.
So cute.
Yeah, and then she made her soup, and then all of the friends made something and came. And as a surprise, my sisters flew in, and we walked in, and so my sisters, Leo, me, and my cousin from Florida came, and we surprised them, and it was great because we hung out.
Nice.
And anyway, the friends, they always talk about Dina. Dina also came.
Listen, now I'm really getting.
I'm sorry, you should have come. And then it was just because these are all the friends that, what do they talk about? It's about the kids and the grandkids.
Yeah.
That's what they usually talk. So now all of a sudden here we are, the
putting
kids
faces
are here.
to names.
Exactly. So it was really nice.
She didn't know you guys were coming either.
She knew we were coming. She didn't know my sisters were coming because my sister had come from Houston and from Florida, and my cousin came from Florida, and so it was just a big surprise just to walk in. And my mom is like, we don't do we're going on a cruise for my mother's 80th. It's not us. We don't do multi-day events together.
Okay, that's probably wise.
It's very wise, and it works for everybody. And their friends. My mom's always been a very good friend to her friends. That's one thing you can always say about my mother.
What's your mom's name?
Batya. Daughter
she's
of
really
God.
Funny.
I'm sure she is.
She's really funny.
Without trying, she's very funny.
Is your dad funny too?
Very
hilarious.
Funny. Yeah, my father is funny because he has zero editing skills. Whatever's on his mind comes out of his mouth.
That's just an Israeli trait, I thought.
No, but it's even better than and he'll put a punchline with it. He'll punch it up.
I'm always just impressed anytime a family can come around at an event like that and not come to full-on physical brawls. Everyone was very well behaved and civilized. You
Yeah.
can't get that many people in a room that are related to me
No.
and there not be like an altercation.
No, we all very
You guys are very business casual.
business casual, but lots of love, happiness. and-
Business casual is fully being incorporated to the title of this episode.
That's I coined that. I was like, your family's very like, you do your thing, love you, like not gonna like,
Yeah.
I don't know, be annoying, drill you on anything, but just
I
like.
love. And your family is like somebody setting a cross on fire. At
No,
some
they
point.
knocked one knocked each
No.
other into the Christmas tree.
Oh, that's another-
yeah,
that's-
they have a
that
whole.
was a few
they
Christmases
fight
ago.
over there. Who has the koyach for this?
Goyim.
Who has the koyach to go fight and
Goyim.
different political opinion? Okay, have a different. Good, pass the sugar. You gotta be kidding me! Political opinions. Who gives a crap?
First
Just
of
get
all-
along, and just that's. What are you kidding?
No,
me?
but it is unique. It is because most.
Speaking of political opinions,
No, but wait, I just have to tell you guys something that I've been wanting to tell you, which is you just said koyach, and we know how I get made fun of because I'm always translating.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes of this podcast,
Yes.
I have started to get messages from our audio engineer being like, can you please translate these words
oh
for me?"
Nicole,
Oh, why?
oh,
It's
do you want to
amazing.
know something? I was actually impressed when she sent over the clip and you said like payas, something else, and something else, and they were all spelled correctly.
Hello.
Nicole, if you're listening to this, I'm happy to also help translate.
No, I don't
Wait,
mind
what's
at all.
happening?
It's
Why?
hilarious.
They're not doing a translation of stuff.
Yeah,
No, she
she's
doesn't
adding
know
captions.
What, she doesn't
she
know what to
is.
Google though. She's
Yeah.
like,
wow.
She's like, wait.
So how do you spell shkoyach? I ask you this all the time.
I
Like, how do you?
do.
There's
Yeah.
no way to spell it
No, no,
wrong.
no,
I'm gonna
there
go on the
is.
record right now. I'm gonna go.
don't go on any record.
I'm
'Cause
going
You've never
on the
looked this
record.
word up in your life.
Listen to me, everybody listening to this.
That's
and
so
a fan,
funny. Oh my
and a
god.
fan of Modi. You can spell anything any way you want as long as people can figure out what it is.
That's not.
No.
a
That's
thing.
my Torah. That's my law.
right.
If you spell it any way, somebody's gonna figure out how it's gonna spell.
I want you to know that I
Yes.
clocked the correct spelling
Nice.
of those niche
I-
words,
of
and I was
course you-
impressed.
yeah, of course.
So now it makes
Yeah,
sense.
you're not in charge of that part of
Yeah,
the podcast.
it all just
though.
happens.
No, whenever he says, "How do I spell SH?"
No. So I said there are two ways. There's Yasher Koach,
Yashakochacha, right?
which is in Hebrew, or there's the Yiddish version, which is what
Shkoyach.
I said
Mm-hmm.
we should use, which is what you
Shkoyach,
said. Yeah.
yeah.
So I have a whole list now of.
Oh my
can you
gosh.
please?
Oh my
Oh
god!
my gosh, she's so sweet. She's doing a great job.
She's
I love
amazing.
her.
I told you she's
Wait,
great.
and you also got a big shout out from one of the fans that said that your book changed their lives.
That was so sweet. I love her. Edith, if you're listening.
Edith, let me tell you
Edith.
something.
She's
We
chic.
met Edith
So
at
chic.
that chic event that we
Yeah.
mentioned on the episode with Moti Ankari, that apparatus event. She's dressed in full like opera gloves, like
Love.
black satin elbow length gloves, these stunning
Stunning.
earrings, pulled back hair, very glamorous woman.
Sick.
And Modi walks by, who is wearing his sunglasses indoors.
I had just finished a show at Gotham.
In a suit.
I've done an hour and change show at Gotham. We get in the car. We go right to this event. I'm still sweating underneath. From
But you
the-
look
from the
fine because
show.
you're in a suit.
Yeah, in a black suit, and I put on my like these Oliver Peoples gold frame glasses, and that's my look.
Even though we're in a dimly lit indoor
Right.
environment.
yeah, you could. There's no lighting in there.
He walks.
can't
There's
see.
one light bulb in the corner lighting the whole place. And she clocks me and she goes like this, "Excuse me, are you the comedian with the Jewish shtick?"
Yes, that was her intro.
With
That's
the Jew, right?
so
and I
good.
said to her, "Yes." And she goes, what are you? Take those glasses off."
Yes, she's very funny.
She's very, and then we just get into it with her, and she's like, I don't want to tell her story, but she's amazing stories.
cool.
She's fun, and you can tell she's chic and knows style, and so she reached out and she said, what'd she
I'll
say?
read it. I'll
Yeah.
read it. It's so cute. I posted it on Instagram. She said, one second, sorry, bear
She used to
with
be
me.
director of art for what's it called?
She used to work at Apparatus. I think.
Apparatus.
Yeah.
Please tell your co-priestess of the podcast, Periel, that her book changed my early 20-something life.
Wow.
And why the only bush I trust is my own. Love that you guys found each other.
That's
Oh,
so
yeah.
sweet.
I know, it is so sweet.
It was very sweet. So she's.
And I love that title.
Yeah.
Because people are always like, I don't, what do you do?
Co-priestess?
Yeah,
That's
co-priestess,
actually
that's
good.
hot.
It's hot. I like that.
Co-priestess and Yiddish translator.
A kohen. You're a kohen on the show.
You wanted to talk about George Carlin.
Oh, I watched the George Carlin special.
So
Did
who
you
is
see
George
it?
Carlin?
Not yet.
George Carlin is a comedian that was a comedian forever who metamorphosed from being like a shticky, funny guy that was completely clean and in a suit and just, I don't say shticky. He got laughs and he had these characters and he was really great. And then he became the opposite. He became a hippie comedian, and then he became just a comic that just through comedy showed how corrupt the world is.
Yeah.
It's a comedian that even before I did comedy, I watched his specials and I was just blown away by them. Genius on so many levels. And I'm watching it at home and it's super long. And Judd
It's 2 parts.
Yeah, Judd Apatow did an amazing job. I could have watched another 4 hours of it because it was so well done. And really brought you through I know every special that he came out, and I've had like weeks where I binged watched everything in a row that he ever did.
Wow.
So for me,
you're a big Carlin fan.
So for me, it was
That's
a big.
interesting.
It was, and then so then I finished watching it. It's like 1:30 at night. I'm sitting there just in thought, and I'm like, you'd think somebody would I watched the George Carlin special and like changed my life. I pulled out my notebook and changed my whole. It is not me. He is not me, and he is amazing, and he's what he does. I have one goal, and it's just to get laughs from the audience and make them feel good, and not to have them look at the world through a different lens, and not to. It's for them when they're in those seats to laugh. To laugh like they have a problem, and it was such a great feeling just to realize that. Like I didn't finish that thinking.
You didn't finish feeling like you needed to change
I need to
anything.
change. I need to do more. I need to write more. I need to be more. And I didn't have that. But I'm so happy he did do that. And I'm so happy he had that life. And amazing. And really you see, when you watch his life, you see God's hand in everything. He, at one point, you think... Whenever you watch a documentary of any celebrity or star, there's always and things are going great and things are wonderful and things and then there's like the blah 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 boom down, right? And it's usually like a money issue, and at one point, he's like they're talking about him doing these shows and he's working nonstop. It's like 1 week you're looking at his calendar and it's like Jacksonville, Detroit, and then like San Diego in 1 week. And so there's money coming in. There's money, but there was something with the business manager, and so there was a big problem with or his accountant. I'm sorry, not the business manager.
So as the accountant, you got to look out for.
Yeah, and
Jewish?
he I don't know, but they didn't pay taxes and enough taxes, and then the IRS was on his back, so he was like fighting to. It didn't really make sense because like he's working nonstop. How much taxes?
They said he was also
owe?
Supporting like 3 families.
Right, he was supporting
like
his
brother's
family, his sister. I'm sorry, his daughter, and then another family. I don't know who else could have been, but he was supporting these families, and so he couldn't catch up.
Right.
And he's talking about how the IRS guy is like following his career. So I see you're going to be in Detroit, this and that, so you can send us money.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
And this house was in escrow, but you know what? It caused him to constantly keep working. He didn't have to take time off, and he didn't. And later on, he took vacations and understood how amazing vacations are. And I believe me, I never understood how good a vacation was till I was in my deep 40s, and. So it was just, you see, God said, okay, I have to make a tax problem for you just so that you do keep going to
You
the
think
world.
God made the tax problem?
Well, God
is the IRS.
No, he's not the IRS, but he's
They know everything.
Yeah, but now that, no.
I didn't want to say it. I'm glad somebody did.
No, I'm just saying it's things happen for a reason.
I thought the thing with the profanity suit with him was interesting because I remember learning about that in my intellectual property law class.
Not in VeggieTales?
Not in VeggieTales. They didn't cover George Carlin. But I remember we learned about that case, but I didn't know who George Carlin was. I just remember those 7 words you couldn't say on TV, which I won't say here. And then he got like arrested or something for it. That's pretty badass.
He was just like total gangster, like amazing rock star, genius.
Yeah.
And he had a cocaine problem, which showed that it made
drugs
it made him and his wife. It end of the day, if you sit it and you think about it, it made them stronger. They had to go through that, and she stopped drinking, and he stopped cocaine, and you built when you resist the urges, and it built them even more. And it was just an amazing life, and I saw similarities in my life to his, and it was just brilliant. But I'm so happy I didn't leave there going, wow, I have to really change, and it's just not me.
Yeah, that does feel like a good realization.
Yeah, I saw a lot of David Tell in him.
Yeah.
Not so much, yes, Dave just shows you the world in his eyes in a crazy way and how stupid everything looks, but the writing, Dave is with a clipboard all day long, whatever thought comes into
That's
his
so impressive to me.
It's so impressive. It's so unbelievable.
Are you watching Hacks?
I watched the first season. I haven't seen the second season yet.
Brilliant.
It was great.
Wow.
The first season was great.
It is impeccable. No notes. 0 notes.
Wow.
And we don't like things with like a comedy motif. Like we don't watch Mrs. Maisel. We don't watch.
That's a good show.
We don't watch.
I can't watch
those other things. But this show is wow.
Brilliant.
Wow. What's so?
Wow.
The characters, and it's like
the character, the lines,
the
yucky LA people, and
they just capture.
It was great.
They captured the yucky LA people so well. They captured those empty souls, those wordy. We'll circle back to you.
The bro talent agents.
Yeah,
that was so funny.
What?
It's so funny. I mean, this is going to be aired after or during the week. No, a week after the LA trip. But, when I do a show in LA, I land, I do the show, and get on the red eye out. When am I going to sit there in Earth Cafe and pretend I'm writing a script?
Hilarious.
Or have a meeting with someone who's
have final draft open on your laptop, just like drinking a matcha latte.
That's amazing.
Or have somebody tell me, that's a great idea. Let me circle back to you on that.
No, I know someone who wrote on that show.
So it's,
I
don't do that anymore. I do comedy and I leave LA.
That was when we did that, like how many weeks were we in LA? I got a crash course in
LA. I lived in LA for a long time.
I served 3 years to the date in Los Angeles. I lived there 3 years. Literally August 8th to an August 8th.
And you hated it?
I did not like it. It was, but I kept it, and I signed up with CAA.
Yeah.
And I had moments that they went to nothing, and I'm not blaming LA or me. Maybe my head wasn't. Maybe I had to go through it. I had to go through LA to know that I do not need to be. When you live in LA and you come back to New York, your appreciation for New York is on another level. You do not take anything for granted anymore. You don't take for granted when you just finished a set and you walk outside and the place is packed. You walk out of the Comedy Cellar, there's human beings coming and going. You walk out of the Laugh Factory, out of the Improv, there's nothing there. You're like, bleh. I'm like, what do I do now?
It's a vacuum.
You walk out of the Comedy Cellar, your phone's blowing up. Hey, we're here. Hey, we're there. Stop around the corner. Come down uptown. Go downtown. There's
more spontaneity in New York
and you don't have any appreciation for that until you lose it, and that's what LA was.
Till you lose it. Listen, I think the thing about LA is that you cannot compare it to New York, and I think that's what everybody who's from New York and goes to LA does, and that's the response.
No. I didn't compare it. I was ready for that whole, hey, I was on Barry's boot camp at like 7 a.m. every day for weeks.
Cute.
I was I went for it. I met people. I did that, and I tried to not become friends with people from New York. But at the end, you just only become friends with people from New York. Otherwise, you can't make plans.
Well,
you make plans with people there, and they're like, you're driving on the way to where the plans are,
which is like 45 minutes.
Hey, have to flake. Sorry. What do you mean to flake? Something came up. I'm like, I'm literally on 405 heading to this fakakta restaurant that this fusion of this dog crap with that cat food. And anyway, so
It is. Well, it is.
so when we went, Leo and I went, and we had a bunch of meetings, three different meetings with three different types of people. And I'm sitting there, and Leo's like listening to them, and like, yeah, okay, so that's okay. Ray, so let me send you an email regarding that. And I'm sitting there thinking,
so naive.
I'm sitting there thinking, I'm so happy this is happening. Leo's getting a 3-year crash course in 2 days. All these, what was that guy? The soul, whatever.
We won't
the bunch of names. And okay, so I know a guy who's working with that. So he'll be able to produce that for you, and he'll be able to do that for you. So let me just circle back with him, and I know in my head this is going nowhere, and he's a big fat gulnish. He's a big nothing. And Leo's like, okay, and Leo's like returning emails and this and that, and sending.
I'm just being a normal human. I'm not like eager beaver.
Sending all the kid wanted and clips and schmips and blah 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 blah, and nothing. And I said,
I will say there is an epidemic of incompetent people working
in the
comedy industry. Let me tell you something. If you are working at a club, I just learn how to use Gmail and your calendar, and maybe set alarms on your phone. I don't know what is going on or what is the character that gets hired at these places to do relatively important jobs. But the level of incompetency of people booking these clubs across the country is astounding, and I can't believe they get to vote.
Excluding the Comedy Cellar.
Yes, excluding
which is run
the Comedy
like the
Cellar
most
and
efficient.
everyone else. No, I tell people when I work with them at the Miami Improv, Melissa, if you're listening to this, I went into her office after the show and I was like, thank you.
Right.
For just being a normal human, just like responding to an email. I have been trying to get numbers for a show you're doing soon for weeks.
Well, let me tell you
and
something.
every 2 weeks, it's a different person working there.
Yeah,
and
the
so
turnover
it's
at the clubs is crazy. It's like...
Yeah. I realized when I decided I was switching everything of my life just to focus and do comedy, that the level, if I was even remotely like had my shit together, like I had a chance of like making something of my life in this industry, because the mess.
They say half of success is just showing up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Half of success is actually just responding to that email, guys.
Yep.
Just respond to the email.
It's true. You're absolutely right.
Just circling back. I'm going to be circling back until I am in the grave.
I don't circle and spiral into a grave.
But this is what I wanted to say about LA. I think that the thing about LA is that ultimately it is a culture that is comprised of people whose primary goal in life is the most vapid thing in the
They're
world.
all narcissists.
Yeah, they just want to be famous. Like they don't care how or what. Whereas I think that creative people and comedians and actors who live in New York are actually, and this is obviously a generalization, no offense, Noah Tishby, but who are really serious about their art. Right.
I think also a difference is in LA, you can find yourself more isolated in this bubble of people who are just like you and doing the exact same thing as you. Whereas New York, you by default like have to be more ingrained in everything that's going on around you. So you see a lot of different kinds of people. But in LA, if you wanted to, you could just be in your house and wherever you're going, and that's it, in your car, and that's it, and not. Yeah. Whereas in New York, again, that spontaneity thing, I guess. But anyway, we hate LA. If you're listening from LA,
I don't hate LA. It's not. I don't hate.
We're gonna be there.
I don't have the energy.
And I actually like being there for short periods of time.
I don't hate LA. It's not where. I don't hate Arkansas. I don't hate Detroit. It's not a place where I need to be. Period.
Right.
And then that's what it is. And
I like LA.
Okay.
I like LA, but
there's something about the constant
it's not New York
looming threat of wildfires and earthquakes that's a little unsettling to me.
I don't believe in. I believe. I don't.
All of California is about to fall into the Pacific at any given moment. The San Andreas fault line. Hello, have you watched those documentaries?
Although
it's the ticking time bomb.
Look,
no, I don't watch that documentary. I watch a George Carlin documentary.
Although whenever I go on my like New York rant and why New York is so amazing, my husband is like, the rats.
Right. He would love
There's
to live
rats
anywhere,
everywhere.
but there's rats. There's rats everywhere.
Not-
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
really.
I saw this video of Washington Square Park, the dog park. I told you about this.
Yeah.
And it was in the middle of the day, and this giant rat runs the gauntlet of the dog park.
I saw it.
You saw it?
I saw it.
And then one of these like fancy labradoodle like actually gets it in his mouth and like does the little ragdoll shake. And I was like, I would have like, how do you kiss your dog ever again after that? You'd have to like.
First of all, nobody should be kissing their dog on the mouth.
I
to
don't
begin with.
for the record, but like how do you even just like let him near your face at all? Like you just had a New York City rat in your mouth.
I saw that. It was crazy. The video was crazy.
And you know it belonged to some like hoity-toity person. It was
Yeah.
one of those like fluffy little lab. Anyway, I'm sure that happens in LA too. There's rats in LA.
Where were we?
Who just called? Anyone good?
No.
I just got an email from someone at the Israeli consulate.
Oh my God! They've been since the parade. They've been so fun and in touch with me, and they're so great. What else do we want to talk about?
We wanted to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
She is so unhinged. She. When I tell you, my motto is always know your audience. I mean, don't bless her heart. She should. We don't need her, but she knows her audience. She's putting out these videos. Each one is more insane than the next. Gay Pride Month began now, and she has some kind of a video saying that, according to this, in 5 years there won't be any straight people.
Good.
It's so funny.
Maybe that's what the climate needs.
And
We
then
just need
she
to stop
said, "Now
making-
she goes. Nationalism is great, and we
Yeah.
should be proud to be Christians, and Christianity should.
and that's what you should
reign
want.
o-
It's
She's
it's
disgusting.
terrifying.
She's disgusting, and somebody should put her in a dumpster.
But look, she made it to our podcast. She knows her audience. She knows what she's doing.
No, it's
She's-
really
she's-
scary.
It's so scary.
It's fun to laugh at, but it's actually scary that someone is able
Yeah.
to and has an audience like that. And I put her in the same category as Ted Cruz of human garbage.
yeah, and like Tucker Carlson and
No.
Ann Coulter and
Ted
all of
Cruz
those
and
people.
that. Ted Cruz. We don't watch television. We don't put the TV on. We don't have
Except
news
for
in the
hacks.
house. No.
We do love hacks.
I'm sorry. We don't watch news. There's no news in the house and nothing. And when I look in the news and it says, I'll look at the head. I have CNN and Fox, just so my comparison. And I only read the headlines. I'm not going to click and watch the video. I just here, da 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 da. Ukraine's way in the bottom. The gas prices are full on top. But I don't watch the news. I remember watching the news once when I forgot her name. The woman who's black that became the justice of the Supreme Court.
Okay.
I forgot her name. It's not an easy name. And I was like just so happy that this was happening. And then she was and I saw the headline. They're questioning her in the Senate, and I'm watching this woman, and she's amazing, and her history is so great. And what is she going through? She's being questioned by the scum of the country, the
scum of the earth.
Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yeah,
Ketanji.
the bottom of the soot. Ted Cruz asking her questions and then that other one, the gay one. What's his name? Lindsey Graham.
The gay one.
Asking her how dare
totally
they question this person
Yeah.
I said, this is why I don't watch the news, and I'm just watching this, and I can't believe they have the right to question, and the questions they were asking her were insane, and they were just horrible.
They're garbage.
I get frustrated because those people, those like right-wing people, are always accusing. They're always trying to tell people that there's this culture war being waged, and they're the ones waging the culture war. The other side, the left, is just trying to I don't know, have rights and basic human dignity and respect for people of all different kinds. And meanwhile, the other side is passing legislation about women's bodies and trying to not let trans kids compete in sports. It's you're the one
Meanwhile-
waging a culture war. Everyone else is just trying to live their lives.
Meanwhile, then you find these men, these quote unquote straight white men in a motel room with a 17-year-old boy.
Matt Gaetz, who is literally being accused of human trafficking a minor.
Literally across the board.
You can always tell who does what by the ones that are in politics, by the ones that are targeting we had a governor of this country of New York, and he was nonstop going after the hookers and sex workers and all of that.
What was his name?
Meanwhile, he was paying $5,000 a session with Spectre or something. I forgot.
There was a documentary.
Yeah.
You just look for every senator that's a pro-gay, anti-gay, anti-that. He's the one diddling people in the bathroom, in the toilet,
at the airport.
Look for who's the most anti-something, and that's the one who's committing that avera. That's
translate that.
The sin.
Nicole, you can ask me later.
Avera means sin, Nicole. What were the other topics we're going to talk about?
I had Botox too. No, I didn't have
you
Botox.
got Botox?
No, I didn't. He's looking. He's caught. No. But I went out to dinner with a few of the moms in my son's class, and one of them is a dermatologist, and everybody at the table except for me had Botox. And she does Botox on herself. Anyway, so we got into the whole conversation. Well, another dermatologist had given her Botox.
Yeah.
And then her eye was shut.
No.
Oh, by the way, there was a comment on the YouTube video in which we discussed Botox, and they said, "I love how vain these two men are. ... Periel does not need Botox."
Thank you.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes, we are vain. What's the?
I think we're vain. What's your problem?
Vain.
We're vain, and we want to look good, and we want to keep it going till.
You got to keep it together.
Yeah, keeping it. We just came from the gym. We just had an amazing workout.
I'm disgusting right now.
I can't even.
When he makes us do that fat sled.
Oh, no,
that's when you know you're looking chunky. When
there's a sled
that he puts all this weight on. He's like, push it across the room and back. That's when you know.
Then you know that means he thinks you're a little bit heavy.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because it makes you sweat and you're dead.
And you burn crazy calories on that.
Is this the Ukrainian guy?
Yeah, Stan. We need to get him on the podcast.
Yeah, he's so busy. He is the most booked personal trainer in New York City.
You cannot get to him.
He should donate a session for the silent auction for Ukraine for our show.
He donates money directly to his parents
in a basement.
He doesn't
in
need
Ukraine.
to give you a T-shirt for your basement. He's so funny, So Sandra Bernhardt works out at the gym.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people work out at the gym.
Yeah, at this.
Don't say the gym.
I'm not saying the gym or the people.
And
no,
and today he's stretching me. We finished the workout. He's like stretching me, and she always walks by and goes, "Hi, Modi," and she goes to him. She goes, "Hi, Stan. How are your parents?"
Oh.
And then he says to me, he goes, "She always asks me my parents. What am I gonna say?" So he's like,
she's being polite.
She's being polite, and she's just literally, she knows he's Ukrainian and his parents are in a basement somewhere, and this and that, and that, and he's like, "Oh, they're good, everything's good, thank you." And then he turns to me and goes, "She always keeps asking me, what am I gonna say?" I said, "Next time, just say, my mom is not doing well. She needs a lot of money. Can you send some clothes and some medication? And can you help out?
Spot me some cash."
And I said, I promise you, she'll never ask you again. She'll never ever come at you and ask you. She'll just give you a wave like in Florida and move right on."
I love her.
I got recognized again, by the way, from the podcast.
Where?
I'm loving it. Where were we? Where was that show in the auditorium?
We're really just here
in
for
Pennsylvania. The one we just did.
Oh, in Philly.
Yeah. Someone came up to me and was like, "Leo," and I'm like racking my brain, and I'm forgetting that like people in theory can now know me just from online.
That is so funny.
We did a show.
God, what's it like being a celebrity?
We did a show in Philly for this Torah Academy. Beautiful theater. A lot of people. It was a show. It was a great show, and it was a show that was canceled.
It was supposed to be a few months ago in February.
Because of COVID?
One of the students passed away in
the school,
whatever.
I don't know if I should be saying
no
this.
details.
Yeah.
And
what
they
school?
rescheduled. Doesn't matter. A school in Philadelphia. And then
they rescheduled less than 24 hours before because it happened. They texted. Yeah.
She passed away on a Friday during school. Saturday happened, and Sunday was the burial. And And
when was the show supposed to
Sunday night.
And what's your cancellation policy?
And there's no, when there's something like that happens,
We
there's no cancellation
just applied
policy.
the deposit
Whatever you
to
need, we'll
whenever
figure it out
you
with
want to do the show.
Yeah.
But in
What-
general, what's your cancellation policy?
If they're
It
canceling,
depends on how nice you are to me, but generally we'll just usually we have a 50% deposit and then you apply it to, if they have to, it depends on what they're canceling for, but then if it's something like that, I mean.
if they cancel with like, hi, can we change this because the Goldbergs are having their bar mitzvah on the same day? Kishin tuchus. Kishin tuchus. If they cancel because a child's burial
Yeah.
is that afternoon.
Whatever you need to do.
And so they called Saturday night. They
was,
called
like,
us
late.
up. We're coming home from Chicago gig or something, and then I like, look, and we're gonna land, go to sleep, wake up, and go to the gig. And they called and they said, look, this happened, and can we? I said, whatever you want to do, don't worry about it. We'll reschedule for. And this happened, and it was they brought it up, and like, it was weird doing the show because I have a whole bunch of jokes about kids. And like in a fun way, making fun of, and you always see the parents laughing because Zoom school sucked and this, and we all have way too many kids, and you gotta be careful with those jokes.
Well, I do think you did pull the Zoom school shooting joke a little too soon a
Yes.
few weeks ago.
Yeah, so that was.
That's an interesting thing to talk about, actually.
What?
I was surprised you did it.
Yeah,
Jokes that are like the idea of like what's too soon, and is there such a thing? When you're doing stand up, that's like a big topic.
Yeah, but it's.
I mean, 90% of the comedians would say it's never too
It's
soon.
never too soon, and it's not. But it
as
was,
long as it's funny, like
right.
the day after 9/11, or you
Well,
know.
look, before I went on the show, so the show began like this. The rabbi spoke, and then the president spoke, and they both were long and winded.
And
so
here's
I
what
came on.
Literally.
I came on and just went like 5 minutes off of the material that they did.
Right.
Just and that
Which
was
you
just,
always do a very good job of
Yeah.
doing.
and that was
Yeah.
that's always the best way to do it
Yeah.
because the audience feels like
Yes.
okay, this is it's not something he wrote years ago and he's doing now. It's like
Yeah.
boom, happened here. We saw it happen and we saw his mind go where his
very
mind
in the
was
moment.
in the moment.
Yeah.
And then we went into this and they both spoke about the family that happened and at the end, I just said, on the closing, I said, thank you all very much for having me. And I really told him that, I remember when we had to reschedule this, I was in shock. I didn't know what to do. And I was so blown away. And I thought of the family and read some Psalms at the moment that happened. And I'm so happy we were able to come back and laugh. And then they were all very, 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 very happy that was probably the end of the show. And then... I sent my regards to the family, and please let them know.
I'm trying to ask about the Zoom shootings.
My stomach
joke.
still hurts when I hear a 9/11 joke, but I would never be someone to be like, oh, you shouldn't do that joke or you shouldn't say that. Like, I would never think that or say that.
First of all,
but
you were in second grade when September 11th.
I know, but it's still terrifying, and I still feel so bad. I mean, like, I don't know, it just makes my stomach hurt when I hear or it's like jokes about that. But
have you seen Chris DiStefano's bit on 9/11?
No.
It's one of the
I
funniest
think I have.
things.
I think that's one.
It's absolutely brilliant. You have to watch it. It's just like a 10-minute at the cellar. It's hysterical. I don't know. So what was the Zoom shooting joke?
It's a Zoom shooting joke. It's
it's not exactly a
Zoom, yeah. Sorry. The joke is it's about like I watch parents do Zoom school with their kids. I cannot believe there hasn't been a Zoom school shooting.
Oh, right.
They blow up laughter. And I
people
set it
like
up. I set it up super
It's
well,
funny.
and it's a great setup and it's a great bit, and they laugh and they move on and they know, oof, wow, whoa, and then they keep going.
Yeah.
And
that's about as edgy as you get, though. It's not like,
it's not like I'm not beyond cutting the edge here, and it's but it's first of all the fact that they lost a child from the school, and B, the Zoom school shooting just happened. We need to let something has to take over that. It's like the Ukraine. We lost Ukraine because of baby formula.
Yes.
We lost baby formula because of the Zoom school shooting.
Abortion.
And now
abortion, yeah.
I guess we're going to lose the Zoom school shooting that happened in Texas because of the gas is too much. And then this is going to be, and then that will lose because we have 2 seconds. These things that just it's 2 week cycle. You have to just wait out the 2 weeks, and then you can talk about anything you need to.
Okay, so that's the answer. 2 weeks. You can wait 2
I think
weeks
it's 2
after
weeks.
a tragedy.
I mean, I think at this point, yeah, people's attention span is just shot. So.
Yeah, and so that's what it is. What's happening? What's happening with? Let's do dates and stuff. This is airing after
LA.
LA, so there's shows on modilive.com that are going to be in the city. A whole bunch of stuff there's a show in Columbus, Ohio.
Yes.
Columbus, Ohio is going to be a show. So those of you in Columbus, Ohio, let your friends know. And
Midwest Yiden.
Yeah.
If you are out there.
They're the best. They're the best. I love out of New York Jews. They all get together for an event.
I need to come on the road with you guys one of these days.
Yeah.
Midwest Yidden is amazing.
And by now, you will be seeing ads for the Chosen Comedy Festival.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You want to, okay.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be airing. This is going to be the Chosen Comedy Festival. There's going to be a link in my website, modilive.com, for the event. And Meanie Longold are hosting this. It's going to be in the amphitheater in
Coney Island.
Coney Island, August 16th. It's a bunch of great names are on the show. The Chosen Comedy Festival. It's going to be a vibe, and it's going to be great, and it's going to be... I'm really looking forward to it. It's the first of many, and there's going to be other events around, but the main show is August 16th at the amphitheater in Coney Island. And again, modilive.com for information about that. Anything you have, this is going to be already after the 13th.
At Periel Ashenbrand. You can find me and all of my information at said Instagram handle.
And Leo_Vega.
Can you not? It's
Yes.
I mean, how hard is it to find you?
At modilive.com.
And that's it.
Are you okay?
I'm
What's going
great.
on?
I'm good. I just don't need to drag this. This is just a quick catch-up session from friends. And
What's the title of this episode? Are we going to figure
What do you
that
mean?
out?
We went 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's the title now? So definitely
Midwest Yidden is a good one.
Midwest Yidden.
I don't know. We have to think. It's not
This is
like
what they do.
something
I don't
that
George
know.
Carlin, Columbus, Ohio, and
George
No,
Carlin.
alliteration
All right.
here.
No,
Carlin.
Columbus.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
LA. There's a bunch of topics on this. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for being a part of the show. I really wish everybody watching this and listening to this lots of laughs and happiness. Thank you all for being a part of our lives.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
This is on Wednesday they're watching this.
Ciao.